Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Kenyans, given the fact that we have the most unpopular incumbent president contesting for an election to get second term, amid lack of faith in IBC, at the same time, serious constitutional bodies collapse like independent institutions like EACC, IBC, Parliament, Senate, among many others, not able to function. So with this, are we likely to have a very violent election in 2027? Let me start by explaining the following, that data do not lie. As an economist, we have seen any year an incumbent in contesting for a second term, we tend to have violence, and years that incumbent is not contesting for election, even if elections are closely contested, we tend to have a peaceful election. Let's start with the year 2007. There was no incumbent running because that was 2002 was Kibaki versus Uhuru. None was incumbent. It was a peaceful transition. We come to 2007. Kibaki was seeking a second term. And because Kibaki was seeking a second term against Raila Odinga, it was very violent. It was also closely contested. We go to 2013. Incumbent wasn't contesting. Kibaki was going home. In spite of the close election, there was a bit of some commotion, but again, there was no violence in 2013. 2017, Uhuru was seeking a second term. There was violence. You saw how worse it was. We come back to the whole idea of now 2022. There was no incumbent contesting, closely contested, but there was no violence. Now we are looking at 2027 now, when we have the most unpopular president, where the whole country people have said must go. Ruto must go has been the rallying call. Some people have called it one term, but for me I call it must go. Everybody in Kenya wants Ruto to go home. Let's not cheat each other here. Anybody hanging around for some benefit that they're the ones who knows. So when we have unpopular IBC, we also have a judiciary that cannot be able to make a decision should IBC not manage the elections properly. Because remember that in 2002, 2007, Lewis told Raila, go and beat Kibaki. Should this still election go to Willy Mutunga, because Chief Justice Willy Mutunga and the entire, let's say, Supreme Court was seen to be a Supreme Court of activists that will not allow anyone to rig an election. Of course, that's now anything to, it's water under the bridge. So we are looking at this cause. So there are two options Kenyans can have. Me as LDP presidential aspirant who is aspiring to run for president. The question we have, should we just give in and tell William Ruto, because you know that you are unpopular, but you said you want to win by hook or crook, you haven't declared you are going to win by 2 or 3 million votes, we just let you go because we fear violence? Or will we tell you that Kenya is not like Tanzania, it's not like Uganda? Should you dare rig the election, we shall fight, and therefore, even if bloodshed will be there. I can tell you I'm designed to die early than to die later, because we're going to die anyway. Most Kenyans will confront the president and will not allow any undemocratic means of sticking to power. Therefore, if nothing changes, as we can see, the ground is boiling up. You see the Kitengela incidents, Kakamega incidents, Busia incidents, the Othaya incidents, and many more to come. It might be a very violent contest between the people wanting to take power from then William Ruto and Ruto wanting to retain power. So what's the way forward? I think that any political missile thrown at William Ruto, he will handle it, because he's prepared with money. He has corrupted all the money he has stolen. He wants to use to manipulate anything that can be manipulated to win the election. Only God he can't bribe. We also saw the church coming in 2022 that actually is the church, not the Catholic Church, but other Pentecostal church that supported him and made him win. This time they don't want him. In fact, even I can tell you, the Catholic Church might not want to have this presidency. ACK may not want him having, PCA may not want to have him. Among other churches, pastors are preaching venom in churches. They don't want to have this administration to continue. Everyone is suffering. Professional bodies are suffering. Civil servants are suffering. And therefore, the only missile that can succeed against William Ruto is an economic missile, because that's the missile he has shown us back with. We gave him the presidency. Using an economic weapon, shows out the middle finger by taking away the pay slip from people, pending bills is the order of the day, corruption is the order of the day, non-remittance is it's just nothing is working. Healthcare is not working, education is not working. The only thing working is politics. And therefore, I tell Kenyans, choose LDP, because LDP is going to help you navigate the issue of economic missile. We are going to ensure we disrupt this system economically. We are going to democratize the economy. We are going to democratize investment. We are going to decentralize the financial system so that these systems work for Kenya, so that Kenyans can have money in their own hands, in their own pockets, and be able to be so empowered financially that they will not care about the handouts, mobilization for goons, mobilization for, let's say, attending rallies. But Kenyans will know that the government of LDP will be working before. Because do you know what? We have a prototype for healthcare. We have a prototype for education. We have a prototype for youth unemployment. We have a prototype for infrastructure development. We have a prototype also for food security.
I first of all have to recognize the following: that Sifuna has taken advantage of a moment, and he has shown that he's made of some metal, because not everybody in ODM could do what he has done. Even if Fred, my brother Fred Okango, want to say whatever he want to say, Fred Okango was in ODM, but I don't think he could even do what Sifuna is doing now. Maybe because Sifuna has been there for longer and is an SG, which is a powerful position, but there are so many SGs who have been there. When Ababu Namamba was hit by the same shit, he didn't respond with Sifuna's kind of thing. So give it to him. He has something in him. And as leaders, even if you are fighting for Sifuna's space, there's no need of envy. A leader should be one who do not want to bring someone down so that they rise. And I think that's what was on my head, because I've been telling you, Deval, that I am a Jesuit educated. Jesuit education is one of the best education you can get in the world. And I'm Mill Hill formed. Mill Hill formation is about values. Maybe to begin by saying that a good leader should never wish someone to go down so that they rise. And in politics, unfortunately, people think that way, but I don't believe that is always the case. Because if some leaders go down, there must be something they are holding, that if they go down, you might find that that space can be occupied by the wrong person that can actually hit you. So I want to say, Fred Okango, Sifuna was somebody you loved when he was not he was not where he is. He's not a child, but he was not where he is now. You loved him. Love him again, just how he talked about him. The values Sifuna espouses remain what it is. You like it or not, he is what he is. At the same time, I'm sure the issue of Sisine Sifuna, don't take it like it's Sifuna. This is analogy. And it is difficult to name yourself. Babu Owino has been struggling by saying Babu kwa sababu kwa nini, but it has not taken its own trend like that on Sisine Sifuna. So just allow it, and maybe it depends on how Sifuna uses it. We say as strategists that when the wind blows in a certain direction, it's about the sailor who knows how to use the wind and adjust the sails in a way to take advantage of the wind. So the wind is there, the wave is there. Whatever Sifuna does with that wave, I gave him 3-4 advice he needs to do. One, he has to make some decisions now. He cannot stay in the cold, because now people believe he can do what he wants. Will he remain in ODM and race it down to the ground, because he cannot be an SG in the party he's opposing? Even the NDC is calling for, he cannot write the list of those delegates. Second thing he can do is either to take the second part of ODM and trade it for whatever it is. He can trade for himself, he can trade it for William Ruto, he can trade it for the other united opposition, or whatever it is. The third option is he can form his own party and start from the ground. I'm saying those are parts of them. I'm saying he can take the part of ODM, because he can only take part of it and become party leader. And you know very well that party leader position, this ODM is a family business, Prof. I've always told you, a family business is a family business. Prof, if you have ever worked for a family business, you must worship the owner. There's no other way around it. I work for a family business. Strathmore is a family business. I didn't worship them. I didn't become Opus Dei, and that's why I had issues also. And I know, and I'm not blaming them. I'm just aware I was not part of that worship. The last option, he can actually join another party and be appointed SD. Now the question is, which is most viable? So if he does not make those decisions will be made for him. They say, if you don't decide, it will be decided for you, and no one will decide in your favor. So that is what Sifuna has to do at the moment.